I'm Edwin Warfield, and I am honored today to interview Fran Kirley, the CEO of Nexion Health.
I got to Martha's Vineyard because a good friend of mine bought the stamp to send my resume to Martha's Vineyard for apply as a director of pharmacy position. Undergraduate degree in pharmacy from Mass College of Pharmacy, and sent my resume and said, "Oh, there's a great job. Everyone wants to live in Martha's Vineyard." I said, "I've never been there." So I got a call back and said, "Hey, come down for an interview." So instead of running the New York Marathon in 1978, I went to Martha's Vineyard for an interview, got the job. Within a year, the CEO was let go, and I was the person that was probably the most experienced. I hadn't got my MBA yet. I had been working on my MBA at Western New England College, taught myself to fly, commuted to Boston every week by plane, flying to Boston on a plane, my little Cherokee that I rented, came back to the Vineyard every day, and became the interim administrator of Martha's Vineyard Hospital when I was maybe 30 years old. It was a great opportunity for me. They saw something in me that I thought I had, but it was a great board of directors. Board of directors consisted of Fairleigh Dickinson, owner of Beck & Dickinson, John Bennett, owner of Puritan Bennett, Tom Mendenhall, CEO of Yale University, Jim Spalding of Spalding Sports. So I was sitting at the board when I was 30 years old with what I would call statesmen of industry. I mean, just fabulous guys. And became the administrator. Didn't get the permanent position because they decided to go to a management company, but I ran that for about a year and a half. And then from there, leveraged that up and joined Hospital Corporation of America when it was a relatively small management company, and ran a variety of hospitals in New England for Hospital Corporation of America in Maine and Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and continued to grow and get larger institutions and more dynamic, and felt very comfortable, got my master's degree, finished that, and was able to really feel like I belonged in the healthcare industry. Being a pharmacist gave me a great opportunity to understand medicine and management, because I could understand the clinical side of what we were trying to do, as well as understand the financial and management side. So it was a great marriage of both education and science. So became relatively successful as an administrator, moved around with HCA, worked for them for a number of years. Had the opportunity in the early 80s to leave HCA and went to an organization that was owned by Buddy LaRue, who owned the Boston Red Sox back in the 80s. And got in the rehab hospital business, which was then a very small upstart business, and began to open, and I opened 2 of the first 65 rehab hospitals in this country about 30 years ago, one in Worcester, Massachusetts, one in Haverhill, and learned the rehab side of healthcare, and which is really where I kind of have continued to grow as my career. And so rehab became a pretty interesting product line, you know, managing strokes and fractured hips and all of the things that occur to a lot of elderly patients. And that product line was something that some people here in Baltimore thought was a great opportunity to put in the skilled nursing facility platform. And that was Integrated Health Services. So I got recruited to Integrated because I understood the rehab business on the hospital side, and how could we use that product line and put it into a nursing home environment where we thought we could provide it with the same clinical outcomes at a significantly reduced cost to the industry. And that was an explosion opportunity. Came to Integrated back when I moved to Maryland in 1993. We had 35 nursing homes. When I left in 99, we had over 440. And we grew that whole rehab piece as an opportunity to provide Medicare services in a predominantly Medicaid and private pay business at that point. It was a nice marriage of skilled nursing and rehabilitation, which has now exploded in the last 20 years. So Integrated was an opportunity for me to come and take skills that I had in the rehab side, mesh them into the long-term care side of business, got Medicare as a component of reimbursement, and Integrated did quite well under the cost reimbursement model. And so that was an opportunity. At Integrated, I was responsible for 2 things ultimately. One was I did all the assimilations of every acquisition we acquired. So of the 440 buildings, I was responsible for assimilating 405 of them into the company. So we grew pretty quickly from a 35 building company in 93, 94 to almost 440 buildings in 99. So I spent a lot of time traveling around the country, and we went from 3 states to 43 states. It was a massive organization. Ultimately, I began to operate the western part of the United States, everything pretty much. I had 13 states, I had 170 properties, 14,000 employees, and really was running a pretty much a full service rehab company, skilled nursing facility, which now is evolved into what's called a post-acute care provider, where post-hospitalization usually go to a skilled nursing facility at this point. So that integrated experience was fast-moving, exciting, energizing, but what I liked about that was that we were being able to provide a service that really wasn't being delivered in a venue or a platform at that time. So that turned out to be a pretty exciting time. Having had the time before working for 2 other public companies, Buddy LaRue, which called Advantage Healthcare, and HCA, I had a good sense of the financial components of how to run a business. And Integrated struggled with that. I mean, that was not their forte. They were not as clinically and financially strong as they needed to be. So I brought to them, I think, a good mixture of understanding how to provide quality services and still make it financially viable.